Today I'm going to share with you what our top clinics are doing that are generating $1 million a month in revenue. I'm not talking about private equity guys here or chains. I'm talking about private individuals that are doing 1 million or more a month in top line revenue. Let's dig into it. Chris here with Medstar Media. We help medical practices grow. And yes, I'm on a walking treadmill. My wife says if I don't lose a few pounds in the next several days, she's going to leave me. All right, let's get into it. One of the easiest things you can do to grow your medical practice that's often overlooked is the grassroots stuff. What you should do is you should go on Canva, create a gift certificate for 150 off or 250 off. Text everyone in your phone from Adam Anderson to Zara Zane, right? And you're going to text them the same message, right? I just started this clinic. Do you know anyone that would be interested in the following services? List your services. And I apologize for the paste and copy message. I'm sending this to you and everyone on my list. I'm also including a gift card. Paste and copy that gift card you make from Canva. And if you know anybody that would be interested, if you could pass this along to them, that would be great. And I'd really appreciate it. That way you're not putting them on the spot. You're just asking them if they know somebody. And that's a great way to get people in. And likely they'll be like, hey, I'd love to come support you as well. And of course you can accept them, right? You're not putting any pressure on them. That's a great way to do it. And the worst thing you're going to get is somebody you haven't talked to since high school telling you to stop, right? Well, them. So number 2, the grassroots stuff is the best. Warm referrals are easy to close. They'll spend more money with you. It's just a lot easier. I know it's hard to reach out to family and friends, but it's the easiest way to do it without spending any money on advertising, so do it. Another technique that the $1 million a month clinics are doing to acquire more patients is they're using micro-influencers. The big influencers are a waste of time. They're too expensive. Their fans are all over the place. It's not going to work for you. But if you can find someone local in your area with a solid group of people, maybe they've got 1,000 people, maybe 2, a small group, but people listen to what they say, having them come into your facility, maybe you give them a discounted service, have them come into your facility, provide them with a discounted service, and then you can hook them up with like an affiliate commission. So everyone that they send in, they get 10% or 15% of the revenue, or you could even add a credit back onto their account. And it'd be really simple. It can be a little confusing if someone's doing a fancy treatment to assume that all of their followers are going to want that same treatment. They might not be candidates. It might not work for them, whatever. So a great way to do it is just to sell a gift card, to have the influencer say, hey guys, I'm hooking up my fans today. For only $50, you get a $100 gift card, right? Now keep in mind what you're doing is you're creating a micro buyer. So these people are going to come in and spend that $100 gift card on something. And you can limit it, right? Maybe you don't use it on Botox or certain low ticket facials or whatever. But your cost of goods is not 100%, right? So that $100 gift card is probably only costing you $50. And you just got a customer for $50. From someone that was trusted. You can give a few points to the person that sent them there, and it's a great way to bring in new business. Micro-influencers, they're better than big influencers. Our spas have had some of the most famous people around come in, post stories. It does absolutely nothing, but we've tried these micro-influencers, and they absolutely kill it. And we've seen it work from med spa services to surgical services. It's just making sure that you set up a funnel. It's really easy for them to come in, get a treatment, and then send them to a page where you can track what's actually coming in. That's the problem with influencers these days. You never know what's coming in. Aside from them being a complete pain in the ass to work with, like these micro-influencers are easier. They're more reasonable. You send them to a checkout page. Boom, now you can track. The influencer will say, hey, use my code, whatever their name is, 50, and you save $50 off a gift card. And now you can track through that code who sent them. Now you've got all of these gift card purchasers that are going to come in and spend way more with your practice than $50. It works, so do it. One thing that all of the $1 million a month clinics are doing is they're running paid ads. Now I hear a lot of agencies out there that just want to run ads on Meta because they think Meta is better. The fact is no one knows until you back out the numbers. So always make decisions based off of your return on ad spend. So if I were you, I'd be running, let's say $1,000 on Google, $1,000 on Meta. You track the revenue back. Wherever you're making more, that's where you should put your next $1,000 and continue to scale as long as you're profitable. But I would definitely test all of the platforms. We've got providers that are spending $100,000 a month on ads, and they only spend it on Google and Meta, right? They don't do anything else because there's plenty of customers just on those two platforms. They're probably the best platforms out there. So know your return on ad spend and then invest accordingly. In order to know what is working on these platforms, you've got to track where your Meta lead is coming from versus your Google lead. And you can usually tell with a little code in the URL, but it might even be worth it for you to have a landing page for Meta and then one for Google, so you're able to track more effectively. All of our $1 million a month clinics know important metrics. How much does it cost to generate a lead? What percentage of those leads are converting into paid customers? Out of those paid customers, how much are they worth initially? How much are they worth lifetime value? If you know how much a customer is worth, that can tell you how much you can spend to buy a customer, right? So you've got to know those numbers. You should also know numbers about your staff. If you send 10 leads to one staff member and you send another 10 leads to the other, and one's pulling 2 or 3 times the amount of revenue, well, that tells you who you should send your good leads to, right? You need to know these numbers. But the most important, right, is cost per acquisition. How much does a customer cost? And then the next most important metric is how much are these customers worth, lifetime value. Normally what we're seeing is about $5,000 to $7,000 for the med spas and about double that for the surgeons. So it's crazy to me when people will have an ad budget of $3,000, which they're turning into 30. I'm like, you just turned $3,000 into 30 and you only want to continue to spend 3. So once you know your numbers, you can scale accordingly. Like if you know your numbers and you know that $1 is turning into 5, you're losing money by not spending more money. So know your numbers, make sure that you're spending appropriately in your market. There is a point of diminishing returns, right? There's only so much Google traffic for the particular services you offer. There's only so much Meta traffic. So get to know where that point is and push as hard as you can. Now, obviously, your team has to be dialed in, the way they communicate with leads, book leads, sell leads, etc. But it's a great way to grow your business. All of our $1 million a month clinics invest in SEO. They actually get the majority of their traffic and revenue from organic searches. The cost of media just keeps going up. Just one direction, up and up and up. Organic is the way to do it. Now AI's added some fun challenges to the mix, but all of our providers are now showing up in those listings, those citations with AI, and they're still getting traffic. Things will probably continue to change, but you need to change with them. And organic traffic, right? When you show up on the top of Google, it's always better. They're always easier to deal with. They trust you more. So I highly recommend investing in SEO. The reason that more people don't do it is because it doesn't pay off for months and months. But if you can find the time to do it, it's really going to pay off. It's kind of like the Chinese proverb, when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago? When's the next best time today, right? So get after it. SEO matters. In order to have good SEO, you need to properly answer the questions that people are asking. Of course, I don't want to bring up side effects on our treatment pages or the cost. What I foresee as deterrence, but that's what people are asking. And so you have to answer what people are asking. If you answer the questions that people are asking, Google will reward you. So do it. Usually some of these treatment pages, like Botox is a treatment page, Breast Dog is a treatment page, M-Sculpt is a treatment page. Usually these pages have 1,000 words of unique content that's 100% unique, or at least 90%. Don't copy from the device manufacturer's site. Make sure it's unique, written by a human, 8th grade reading level, answer the questions, and you'll start ranking higher. Obviously, reviews help as well. If you have a lot of reviews, it will also push your page up. The one thing that the majority of our clinics have in common is they have a website that's optimized to generate a lead. There's no point in having a bunch of people come to your website. If they just leave, they bounce, you never hear from them. So there's things that you've got to do on your website. This has been around for like 30, 40 years, ever since the internet started. These techniques were around even when newspapers were around. You've got to have a headline, social proof, call to action. You got to basically make it really easy on the consumer to reach out to you. Whether that's calling you, filling out a form, maybe you hit them with a pop-up on your website. You've got to convince them that you're the best option, right? And that way they'll give you their information. But if you make it hard to give them the information, then you're not going to get anywhere. And if your website looks like crap, they're not going to give you their information. So your website should be beautiful, modern, classy, but also very easy to use. Very easy for someone to give you their information. I remember sitting in the back of a med spa in 2011. A lead would come in. We could get to it in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. They would answer the phone. Those days have changed. People have a ton of distractions now. They've got a million apps on their phone, a million things going on. Everyone's got ADHD or some variation of it. It's really hard to capture people, right? And one thing that we learned is our staff members couldn't react as fast as the American consumer needed them. So that's why automations are very important. There's lots of great tools out there. We use High Level a lot. It'll allow you to send out automated text, emails, phone calls, etc. when a lead comes in. That way, if you're in the back with a client or your staff is helping someone check out, those messages, the emails, the texts, the phone calls go out automatically, right? It buys you time. It prevents them from looking at other competitors, hopefully. And then when they reply to your text message or your email, right, now you've got them on the hook. You can take a little bit more time, craft a nice message, get them booked, bring them in, show them a good time, and take care of them and convert them into a customer. But automation is very, very important right now. It's too hard to have humans do it. You've got to automate as much of it as possible. And keep in mind, automation doesn't replace people. It just makes them better. It allows them to react faster. So I would definitely automate all your texts and your emails. And then I would still have someone grinding on the phone, hammering calls. I think that's still important. But sending out that text a minute after the lead comes in is going to buy you time, and it's going to put you ahead of your competitors. One of the biggest things the $1 million a month clinics are doing is they hire the right people and they keep them there, right? A lot of injectors are bouncing from place to place and people follow the needle. But if you can pay well, you're going to be able to recruit much better talent, and it'll always cost you less in the end to pay more for good people than trying to make cheap people good, right? So hire good people, pay them well, you'll make more money. I know that's common sense. That's what all the top providers have. They have great people. And one of the most important people that you can have is the person that's interacting with the leads. By leads, I mean new leads coming in. Maybe they're calling your patients that haven't been in 6 months and inviting them back in. That's a very important role, and it would probably be the first that I would fill to get more people in the door. That'll generate you more revenue. Then you can continue to hire great people. Oh, and by the way, and for some reason in our society, this concept of incentive works really well. So if you give someone a good base and then you create different performance incentives, it's going to make things a lot easier on you, right? You would think, hey, I pay this person X amount an hour. They should just do their job. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Pay them a good base and then gamify it so they make X. They make a small override every time they bring in more business for you. And the biggest thing that separates the clinics that are doing $1 million a month from all the rest is doing the boring work, the work that no one wants to do. No one likes to make phone calls. So if you make phone calls, you're going to get a hold of a lot more people. You're going to have conversations. Yes, there are people that prefer to be text, but before someone buys a $4,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 thing from you, a lot of times they're going to want to have a conversation. And most people will not do it. They won't call because they don't like calling, and they let their staff's preferences affect where their kids are going to go to school, what vacations they're going to take. They're kind of held hostage by these staff members, and I get it. I've been there. But if you can hire someone who just grinds on the phone all day long, they call your new leads, they call old leads, they call customers that haven't been in 6 months, and they offer them a gift card for a new service that you have. That's the difference between the massive, profitable clinics and the ones who aren't, right? Is they put in that boring work, they hammer the phones, and it just works. So if you can get good at even one of these things, you're going to see a big difference. But I recommend doing all of them because they work. So do it.